There is a question I'm trying to answer. And as you're watching this, I'm hoping you can help me think it through. What happens to Pizza Hut now? Here's what I mean by that. Yum Brands, Pizza Hut's parent company, has agreed to sell the brand for a combined $2.7 billion through two separate transactions. LongRange Capital, a private equity firm, is buying Pizza Hut outside mainland China for approximately $1.5 billion. Meanwhile, Yum China Holdings is buying the mainland China business for approximately $1.2 billion. Pizza Hut is about to become two versions of the same brand under two very different owners. That could be exactly what Pizza Hut needs. But it also raises a harder question. Will private equity ownership give Pizza Hut the investment and urgency it needs to recover? Or will the pressure to generate returns lead to more closures, deeper cost cutting, and the loss of even more of what customers once loved? But I remember when Pizza Hut was a big deal. Think about the Pizza Hut you remember. Maybe it was the red roof, maybe it was the booths, the red cups, the buffet, or just sitting around a table with people and eating more pizza than you probably should have. Back in college, a few friends and I could scrape together some money and somehow end up with enough pizza to make the whole plan feel like a good idea. I still think Pizza Hut's $10 any pizza deal was one of the greatest offers ever created. So when I first started seeing headlines about Pizza Hut struggling and closing locations, it felt a little weird, not shocking, just weird. Pizza Hut always felt permanent. Pizza Hut started with two brothers in Wichita, Kansas, who borrowed $600 from their mother to open a restaurant that eventually became one of the world's largest pizza chains. But Pizza Hut expanded when pizza was still spreading across the country. The company wasn't just selling pizza. In a lot of ways, it was helping create pizza culture because Pizza Hut wasn't simply giving people something to eat, it was giving them a place to go. Nobody needed a special reason to be there. Someone mentioned pizza, and soon you were sitting around a table talking about things that had nothing to do with food. When you think about the Pizza Hut you remember, what do you actually remember? Is it the exact taste of the pizza? Or is it who you were with, where you sat, and what the place felt like? People rarely get nostalgic about a transaction, they get nostalgic about an experience. Customers don't stay the same forever. What people wanted in the 1980s isn't necessarily what they want today. And if I'm being honest, I've changed too. Now, think about the last time you ordered pizza. Did you choose the restaurant with the nicest dining room? Or did you open your phone and look for the best combination of price, speed, and convenience? Today, if somebody gives me the choice between leaving the house and having food delivered, I already know which option I'm picking. And I don't think I'm alone. That is where Pizza Hut started running into trouble. Its success had been built around getting people through the front door at exactly the moment customers were finding more reasons not to leave home. The shift was gradual. Delivery improved. The internet, smartphones, and food delivery apps made ordering easier. People stopped asking where they wanted to eat pizza and started asking how quickly it could arrive. For customers, that was a small change. For Pizza Hut, it was a massive one. This is where Domino's enters the story. Pizza Hut and Domino's both sell pizza, but they spent decades solving completely different problems. Pizza Hut tried to create a great experience around pizza. Domino's tried to get pizza to your door faster. Both approaches worked until convenience became more valuable, online ordering became normal, and delivery became expected. You might be thinking the answer was obvious. Pizza Hut should have closed its dining rooms, focused on delivery, and copied Domino's, but it wasn't that simple. Domino's had built its business around moving pizza efficiently from the oven to the customer. Pizza Hut had built restaurants. It had larger buildings, dining rooms, franchisees, and millions of customers with a clear idea of what Pizza Hut was supposed to be. Changing the menu was easy. Changing the entire reason the business existed was much harder. Pizza Hut's situation wasn't caused by one terrible decision. Its original strategy worked incredibly well until the thing that built the company became harder to defend. One of the toughest challenges any business faces is recognizing that yesterday's advantage may not be tomorrow's advantage. That's easy to see in hindsight, and it's much harder to see while you're living through it. So, what would you do? Imagine controlling thousands of restaurants built around an experience people once loved, but the buildings are expensive. Customer habits are changing, and your largest competitor was designed for the new market from the beginning. Do you preserve the experience that made your company famous, or dismantle it and risk becoming just another company delivering pizza to someone's door? That is the trap Pizza Hut found itself in. Before the sale, Pizza Hut was already closing weaker locations, moving away from older formats, and investing in digital ordering and delivery. Close weak restaurants, build smaller locations, improve the technology. But think about what happens after Pizza Hut does all of that. Once the dining room is gone, what makes Pizza Hut fundamentally different from every other company delivering pizza to your house? Pizza Hut wasn't simply trying to improve its operations, it was trying to answer a much bigger question. What should Pizza Hut become? And now that question belongs to LongRange Capital. LongRange is buying Pizza Hut everywhere outside mainland China, a huge franchise system spanning very different markets. It may provide dedicated leadership, sharper priorities, and faster decisions. But private equity also comes with a clock. The investment must eventually produce a return. And that creates the tension at the center of this deal. Will long range rebuild what makes Pizza Hut distinctive? Or will it focus mostly on efficiency, closing stores, cutting costs, and turning Pizza Hut into a leaner version of every other delivery chain? Now consider the other side of the sale. Pizza Hut isn't struggling everywhere. In mainland China, the story looks completely different. By early 2026, Pizza Hut China had more than 4,300 restaurants, and Yum China wants more than 6,000 by 2028. That helps explain the $1.2 billion purchase. Yum China already operates Pizza Hut there. After closing, it will own the mainland China brand rights and stop paying Pizza Hut licensing fees to Yum brands. It isn't buying a turnaround story, it is buying more control over a business it believes can keep growing. At this point, you might be thinking the traditional Pizza Hut restaurant is simply outdated. Customers want delivery. Large dining rooms are expensive. The old model no longer works. But then you look at China, and the story becomes more complicated. Pizza Hut began there as a premium Western dining experience. When customer behavior changed, management did not simply protect the old formula, it experimented. It introduced more affordable menu options, smaller formats, and concepts aimed at people looking for quick, convenient meals. One example is Pizza Hut Wow. These locations target a different customer, someone grabbing a quick lunch, eating alone, or valuing convenience as much as variety. What would Pizza Hut look like if it were created for today's customer instead of yesterday's? Wow might be one answer, not by preserving the old restaurant, but by rethinking what a restaurant is for. And now the contrast is impossible to ignore. Long Range is buying a global turnaround challenge. Yum China is buying a growing operation it already understands. Two owners, two different starting points, and potentially two completely different versions of Pizza Hut. One appears to see a global turnaround opportunity, the other sees a growth platform. Neither approach comes with guarantees, but together they reveal something important. Great products matter, but businesses must also respond to changing technology and customer behavior and challenge assumptions that once seemed obvious. Pizza Hut still sells pizza. People still recognize the brand, the food category hasn't disappeared. Yet the question facing the company today isn't really about pizza, it is about identity. There's an irony here I can't stop thinking about. Pizza Hut's biggest challenge came from moving away from the model that made it famous. A Pizza Hut looked like a Pizza Hut. That sounds obvious, but it is becoming surprisingly rare. Think about a company, product, or place you once loved that slowly changed. At what point did it stop feeling like the thing you originally cared about? That is the risk Pizza Hut now faces. For decades, Pizza Hut knew exactly what it was. Then customer behavior changed, technology changed, competition changed, and suddenly the question became much harder to answer. What is Pizza Hut supposed to be now? Can private equity revive Pizza Hut outside China without stripping away what makes the brand worth saving? Can Yum China prove that the restaurant experience was never the problem and that the real problem was failing to keep reinventing it? And when we look back a few years from now, which buyer will have made the better bet? More importantly, will the decisions that create the best return for Pizza Hut's new owners also create a better Pizza Hut for its franchisees, employees, and customers? Share what you think in the comments, because sometimes the toughest thing for a successful company isn't building a brand, it is figuring out how to change without losing the reason people cared about it in the first place.